Hello, what's up guys? This is Axel. Welcome to ATech Reviews. Today's video I'm going to be reviewing the Kefine Delci AE or Angel Ears edition. In this video I'm going to talk about the differences between this AE edition and the normal original edition, which I have and I enjoy, and I'm going to be talking about the sound impressions with the two included nozzles, the silver and the gold nozzle of this IM, and then I'm going to be comparing it from the sound perspective, this Kefine Delci AE versus the original Kefine Delci. We're going to look at the graph together, and then I will mention a few comparisons with this IM and slightly more expensive IMs, so that we can have an idea about the value and the sound quality and so on. Let's begin. This is the Kefine Angel Ears. I don't know exactly what Angel Ears is. I remember there was a 7Hz timeless Angel Ears edition as well that changed the MMCX to 2-pin. I remember that. But here we have an edition with a few changes. What comes in the box? You get this very nice box and you get this small carrying case. It's soft except in the corners. Carry it in your pocket. It's an excellent case. And when you open it, you get the IM itself. I'm going to get that in a moment. And then you get these ear tips, 3 pairs of generic like gray looking silicone narrow bore, and then these blue ones which are also narrow bore. It's kind of different. And then you get 2 pairs of nozzles. They're not your regular nozzles that you're going to find on Moondrop Kato or Simgot EA500 LM. They're very short. As you can see, it's not a long nozzle. And I'll post a picture so that you guys can have a better idea. And then we get to, let me remove the earpieces like that. Then you get to this cable, which is a bit on the thin side. It's a very nice cable. It's pliable, slight memory, as you can see. And it tangles slightly, but no problem. You can easily untangle it, there's no problem. The only small issue I have here, you can see this cinch slider here, which comes at the ear hooks, is that if it's stuck, but usually if I'm using it, like you see, the cinch slider isn't exactly useful. I'm sure there is a way to, like some of you guys have these mods and stuff like that, I'm sure there's a way to adjust it and fix it. Coming to the earpieces themselves, like, I don't need to talk about the quality. If you've known the original Kefine Delci, you know the quality here. We're talking about excellent and like machined like a tank, aviation grade, CNC machined aluminum alloy. They even say here, CNC machined aviation grade. I don't know if aviation helps or not. I can tell you though, it's built like a tank. And it's very lightweight as well. Construction is perfect. You have 2 vents, so no issues with driver flex and no issues with pressure buildup or things like that. And then you get the nozzles. They are a screw-in. As you can see, you remove them like that and you can attach them again. That's pretty much it. That's the unboxing experience. Now, I know some of you will ask, okay, what is the difference? What are the differences between the original edition and the AE edition? There are a few differences actually. Number one is the color. This is a silver colored earpieces. The original had a brownish color, like gunmetal, that for the earpieces themselves. Number two is the color of the cable as well. This is a silver colored cable. The other one had a again brownish kind of cable, a colored cable. Number three is the material of the wire itself, not the cable, the wire inside. This is a silver plated cable. I don't know if that makes a difference or no. I'm just telling you the differences. And number four, you're getting 2 tuning nozzles instead of 1, so that is like an option. And number 5, you get the option to order this IM with a balanced 4.4 cable. The original version didn't have that option. You had to go 3.5, but thankfully, a welcome addition here, I have to say, we have the option to order it with 4.4. That's all nice. Maybe also a change in the ear tip. They provided this one. That's all the differences. Okay, so what are the differences in the sound? Before I get to that, let me describe both the sound of the original Kefine Delci and the sound of the new Kefine Delci Angel Ears with the silver nozzle. And I will tell you, after I finish this description very quickly, I will tell you the differences between them, the silver nozzle and the original Kefine Delci. If you didn't watch my original Kefine Delci review, you're in luck. You don't have to watch it. I'm going to summarize it for you very well right now. At the same time, this is also the description of the Kefine Delci AE with the silver nozzle. Number one, if you look at the graph, and according to my listening impression, the Kefine Delci AE with the silver nozzle has a very pleasing U-shaped tonality. There is a good amount of focus on the sub-bass, and it has a very nice rumble, and at the same time there's a good strong bass response. Not the most textured, but it has a very good strong sense of slam, sense of impact. It is punchy, it is detailed, it's very satisfying, and at the same time it remains balanced. It doesn't reach the area where it becomes overpowering, and it doesn't have a bass bleed. The bass shelf or the bass glide has like a kind of a clean downward slope, which gives things a nice tonality, warm leaning. It's leaning on the warm side of things, but at the same time, that kind of like slight bass boost gives a lot of heft and note weight to the lower mid-range, so expect a lot of instruments to sound organic and natural. I'm talking things about like acoustic guitars, jazz, saxophones, and violins and cellos and stuff. These things have heft, have note weight. Male vocals sound natural, sound warm, sound naturally thick. They have their overall natural thickness and tonality. There is an emphasis more on the upper mid-range, which carries over a bit to the lower treble, so you might find that higher pitched instruments and higher pitched vocals like female vocals have more detail, more clarity. At the same time, it's not shouty at all. You don't get that element of shoutiness. It's transparent. I would describe the vocals as transparent. Enough detail, enough clarity in the mid-range, enough separation to make it interesting enough and detailed enough and enjoyable as well. Then we move on to the treble. You might find there is a bit of spiciness in the lower treble, which kind of makes things like, let's say, 15 or 20% of the time you might find something spicy, but it's not going to be offensive. It is not going to be sibilant, just there is an emphasis there. This becomes like very handy as well, because you find that the treble is a bit more detailed. It adds a lot of clarity, it adds a lot of detail, it adds a lot of air and sparkle, which again makes things very enjoyable and adds to the U-shaped tonality that I spoke of earlier. In terms of timbre and tonality, it's a bit of a natural, organic timbre and tonality, which means it sounds very natural. Instruments, vocals, anything you listen on the Kefine Delci AE and the original Delci sounds very natural, which is one of the reasons it succeeded and many people love it and it's preferred by many people. As I said, overall, it's a very pleasing tonality. Detail retrieval, it's not a detail monster IM, but it has enough detail to make you perceive most of the information that you listen to, and that you find yourself not seeking more detail. You're listening to most things that you want to listen to, and you hear enough and sufficient detail, which is awesome. It allows you to get lost in the music. The IM itself, although vented, has excellent isolation, which adds to the immersiveness factor. Like, there's nothing wrong I could say about this IM at all. Like, I don't have anything to add. I don't have anything to say, oh, I wish they did this. Everything is done perfectly. Fit and comfort is excellent as well. Everything is just super perfect. So price is also taken into consideration, and you understand why this IM is beloved by many people. Soundstage is considered wide, not like super wide, but it's wide compared to most other IMs. So it's like a great IM. Now, I will talk about the differences now with this version, the Silver Nozzle AE edition, compared to the original. And I compare this very, very well in order to reach my conclusion. What are the differences? The differences, and I'm going to be flat out honest here, is a slight increase in the detail retrieval and technical performance and imaging, and I'm specific about those two things, and I want to put a number on it, although I don't like doing that, but I want to put a number to make you understand how much is this difference I'm talking about. The difference is marginal, it's very small. I would say it's 5 to 10%. So if you already own the original Delci and you want to know the difference between that and the Silver Nozzle, rejoice, rest assured, the difference is very small. It's just the difference is noticeable when I volume match them and compare them side by side immediately at the same part of the song. The bass is slightly tighter on the AE edition. There is slightly more technical detail, and the most noticeable detail is the imaging. Like even with EDM songs and things like tsk, 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 you can hear them more clarity on the AE edition. That difference could be to a few reasons, but I will tell you what my guess is. Like that difference, for example, could be to silver-plated cable. I'm not sure. I don't know if cables change the sound, but maybe it's a very small difference. As I said, it's a marginal difference. Probably it could be due to the balanced cable. Like I did this comparison volume matched, but there's no denial that most amplifiers are designed, if they have a balanced output, they're designed to have the best performance going to be through the balanced output. Specifically, if we're talking about a fully balanced differential amplifier topology, of course, the balance is going to be slightly better as well. You're getting more power, more voltage, more current, slightly lower crosstalk, lower harmonics, lower noise. So maybe that difference is what I perceived. I'm not sure. I will tell you my guess. My guess is the nozzle. And you will see when I talk about the gold nozzle how much the sound changes. I say the nozzle is that responsible factor for that slight technical detail I perceived and imaging and tighter bass, because the nozzle is different. The nozzle is bigger. The nozzle diameter here, I'm talking about 6.4 millimeter to 6.5 versus the original, which is 6.2 millimeter, if I remember correctly. So there you have it. That is the difference. So like if we're talking just sound quality and we ignore every other difference in the accessories and stuff like that, the differences between the Kefine Delci AE silver nozzle and the original is going to be 5 to 10% improvement in technicalities and imaging, and maybe slightly tighter bass. All right. Okay, that's very good, done, you know. So what else now? Let's talk about the gold nozzle. Now, the gold nozzle is not something I see myself using, but I respect you completely, and more power to you. I hope you enjoyed it if you're going to listen to. It's just not my preference, and I will describe the differences. The differences is you find that there's slightly less bass, and it's not noticeable that much in terms of the bass performance, but you'll notice there is a slightly lighter note weight, slightly, you know, like slightly thinner sounding male vocals, and so on. It removes that delicious note weight I was talking about that adds a lot of body to the instruments and the vocals and stuff like that. So that is my first thing I noticed about the difference with the gold nozzle. Number two, there is going to be an upper mid-range and lower treble emphasis that gets too energetic at times for me. And what I mean by too energetic is, depending on your music, sometimes it could be shouty, sometimes it could be slightly sibilant as well. So slightly shouty, slightly sibilant, depending on what you're listening to. I notice if I'm listening to something gentle, something that doesn't have a lot of like energetic tones and stuff like that, it's okay. But the moment the pace is fast and the moment the song picks up, the track gets busy, specifically with today's music, which is mostly very energetic music, I notice immediately it becomes energetic, and if the track gets even higher, I notice, yes, it becomes a slightly shouty or slightly bright as well. So that is something that happens. To be completely fair as well, I want to mention to you something that I noticed with the gold nozzle. There is a huge and significant improvement in the detail retrieval and technicalities as well. That difference is not small. Again, if I have to put a number on it, it's more than 30%. So you can imagine the difference that happens. Of course, it comes with a price, it comes with a trade-off, but that difference is significant. It's so significant that when I went back to the silver nozzle after listening to the gold nozzle for some time, I initially felt that the silver nozzle was kind of dull. It was not. I was so impressed with it, but the gold nozzle is much more detailed and has much more clarity and separation in the upper mid-range and treble, which is super clear, which is why, as I said, I think the improvement between the silver nozzle of the AE edition and the original edition is probably due to the new nozzle. Because if a gold nozzle is going to make that difference in technicalities for me, Can you imagine? Like, I thought the driver changed so much. It became a different IM in level of detail retrieval and stuff like that. So if that gold nozzle can do that, I'm sure the new nozzle is better suited as well. So that's my opinion about it. Now I will mention in the end, like, for example, two things. Like, first of all, the comparison between other IMs. I want to mention that, and then I will talk about my opinion overall, sum this up. Comparing this IM to the original, I think it's great. Like, I think it offers a better value. Like, if you don't have the original Kefine Delci and you want to buy a new one, I think this is going to make a lot of sense for many people. I like the original color, to be completely honest, including the cable as well. But this, like, offers a few things that are better. If you think about it, like, if you want to buy a balanced cable for it, it's going to cost you at least $20. So they give you here a very nice package, and they add even the quality of the cable is improved, and they add an extra nozzle for you so that you can play with it. I see people getting this as a better option, absolutely. And I see people even who will get this, and I think many of you, because you guys tell me in the comments you use this filter and use this mod and stuff, I see people buying this and maybe even modding it with their own filters and their own mesh filters and these things that they do. And maybe even using the gold nozzle. Someone out there will do this somehow, I'm sure. We'll use the gold nozzle, get the benefit of the technicalities, and remove that extra upper mid-range emphasis so that we get the best of both worlds here. I think this is going to be awesome. But without that, you get a balanced cable and you get the same IM. That is, like, you know, that improvement. Slightly better technicalities, a small amount for a small increase in the price. Now, to me, that is perfect and makes sense, and something that is worth it, in my opinion. Absolutely. Other people, I'm sure if they use the other nozzle, many will use that. I think this makes it a much better value for them as well. If you have the original, will you get this? Unless you want to try the cable, or like unless you're going to sell the old one. As I said, the improvements using the silver nozzle is minimal. It's marginal. It's not that great. It's the same exact IM. You have to understand that. Just a slight improvement in the technicalities and imaging. That is the difference. So should you get it? That's up to you. But if you're buying this new, I think this makes a very good, compelling case. But if we compare this to slightly more expensive IMs, things like, let's say, like if we compare it to IMs around the $80-$90, let's think about like DUNU Titan S2 or SimGot EA500 LM. I'm speaking only about the sound quality here. I think the DUNU Titan S2 and the SimGot EA500 LM are going to sound better. Again, this is just my opinion based on them. I listened to them. I did this comparison before this video. I think the DUNU Titan S2 and EA500 LM, although more expensive, they are on a higher level in terms of sound quality, in terms of detail, in terms of bass texture, in terms of a lot of stuff. Yes, the SimGot EA500 has an overly energetic mid-range and it has problems. I didn't say it doesn't. The DUNU Titan S2 has also a slightly energetic upper mid-range, but I'm talking about the sound quality itself. They are much more detailed IMs and much more resolving IMs compared to this one. This one with the silver nozzle is almost like a perfect IM with the balanced cable and the new ear tips. You don't need anything else. Gets my recommendation, 100%. Gold nozzle, not for me, could be for you. Anyway, I think Kefine Delci, like, they outdid themselves, Kefine, with this one. It's an excellent IM. That has been my review and my thoughts on the Kefine Delci AE edition. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. If you have any thoughts or any questions, let me know down below. And subscribe and like this video if you like my content. And until then, guys, see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.